All right, good morning. If you're on Facebook Live, welcome. If you're listening on the call, either way, I'm glad that you are here, and I'm excited to share with you the topic today. If Jason, if you're listening, your responsibility today would be to control all of the muting and so forth, because I don't have access to that. So if you could just make certain that people are muted and the entry chime is off, that way I can concentrate on the message. So let's get started. I want to talk with you about something that I think is it's very exciting, but it's usually something that most people don't like to talk about. They say that there are three topics that you should avoid in polite company, which is sex, politics, and religion, which I think most people do adhere to that, although I think we've all been at dinner parties where there's that person who decides to talk about politics and ruin the event for everybody. But there's a fourth topic, and that topic is money. I think it's oftentimes it's something that people are less willing to talk about than religion or politics. And the question is why? Why are people so reluctant to talk about money? And I think it's ultimately because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Oftentimes it's because they simply don't have enough themselves. They're not familiar with it. They don't relate to it. But then there are those who really they have this blueprint or in their mind that money is an evil thing. It's something that that if you have it, that somehow you lied to get it, you cheated, that it's not something that people who are good moms or dads have a lot of, because you certainly can't be wealthy and be a good family dad or a family mom, because it takes way too much time, energy, and effort to have great wealth. And when I talk about wealth, I'm talking about not just having a good sum of money in the bank and the savings account. I'm talking about having millions and millions. I'm talking about tens of millions or hundreds of millions. I use those numbers, tens of millions or hundreds of millions, and how many of you immediately start to kind of bristle and step back and say, well, I would never want that, or I could never imagine having that. I mean, I never grew up with that sort of money. I don't know anybody who has that sort of money. And that's my point. Isn't it interesting the way we respond to money? The other day I was driving along a road and I saw this beautiful, and I mean it was beautiful, Ferrari. It was a gorgeous dark silver, but it was a silver, brand new. I could tell it was brand new. It still had the happy sticker on it, and beautiful red leather interior. And as I examined the car, which was the first thing that got my attention, I thought, wow. But then I started to pay more attention, and I looked and I saw who was driving the car. Now, the gentleman who was driving it couldn't have been more than 32, 33 years old. And I thought, how interesting. And I thought to myself, I wonder what people are thinking about him as he's driving around in that car. In fact, I wrote down some of the thoughts that I think people would have as they see somebody in a car like that. One of the thoughts would be, well, it's his dad's or it's his mom's. Another thought that I wrote down here is, well, he's a service tech for the Ferrari dealership and he's just taking it out for a drive after they've serviced it to make certain they took care of the problem. Or how about this? He stole it. Although he wasn't driving it like he stole it. Although I think that if you own a Ferrari, you ought to drive it like you stole it, because they're made to go fast. But isn't it interesting how we will make excuses for why other people have great wealth and don't take responsibility ourselves? And I think it has to do ultimately with a couple of things. Number one, the way we interpret money. And then number two, for most of us, we just simply don't relate to it, so it's not something that we like to talk about a lot. Now, I wrote this down here, and I want you to think about this, and if you're taking notes, please take notes. We explain away the success of others. Let me say that again. We explain away the success of others. We do that for all sorts of reasons. But we can say that, well, they're just lucky, or they cheated their way to that success. It's just they didn't get there honestly. It wasn't done by the book, because if you did it by the book, you certainly couldn't have that much money. We explain away other people's success. So the question that I have for you, and I wrote this down, is what is your attitude towards money and those who have it? See, if things are going to change, if you want to desire to have more money, if you would like to have more money, we have to change the way we look at money and the way we perceive it. So ask yourself that question. What is my attitude towards money? And what's my attitude towards those who have it? See, if you want more money, but you have a bad attitude towards money or those who have it, you'll never have it. You'll never get it. See, it requires that we change our mental state of being as it relates to money. See, a lot of people will say that money is the root of all evil. In fact, they believe that the good book says that money is the root of all evil, which is not true. What we know is that it says that to covet money is the root of evil. To love money, right? The issue is, think about this. Mother Teresa, she took a vow of poverty, right? So she lived as an impoverished woman would live. She didn't have great wealth. She didn't have great luxuries. And yet, to do what she did, it took billions. That's billions with a B, not millions, B, billions. See, in order to have great impact on the lives of others, to have the freedom, because that's what she had the freedom to go out and impact the lives of millions and millions of people because of the monies that she had control over through her organization, through the Catholic Church. See, we've got to recognize how we feel about money. Now, if you feel good about money and you're saying, John, enough, I love money and I want more of it, what do I have to do? Here is the answer. I think there are many answers, but I think the primary thing is this, and this is what I wrote down. Success is not guaranteed for anyone, it's earned. See, you have to earn it. There's a price to be paid. And money is like any other commodity. And the more of it that you want, the higher the price will be, the more you'll have to pay. See, and the way that translates is this: you have to work harder, you have to work smarter. But there's a component that's missing. See, you and I know that. We know that we have to work in order to get it. We know that we should work smartly in order to get it, to get the money quicker and in greater quantities, to be able to go out and offer a greater deal of value to those that we're trying to offer it to. But the truth is, we all know that, so what prevents us from actually going out there and doing it? I believe it is this. It's a lack of passion. My grandfather said to me many times when I was a kid, before he passed away when I was 22, he said to me, John, don't be a mile wide and an inch deep. And this is what he explained to me. See, my grandfather grew up in Wyoming. And in Wyoming, they do oil exploration. And in the process of doing oil exploration, the wildcatters, as they're called, these are the men or the women who will go out and try to find oil, guess where the oil is. And I say guess, it's an educated guess, but nevertheless, it's a guess. They will go out there and try to find these pockets of oil. And in doing that, they have to use certain standards or techniques that they follow. Well, in that industry, if a person's not good at finding the oil, they will say that they're a mile wide and an inch deep. And what he meant by that is this, and let me explain this to you. Those of you who are on Facebook Live, you can see this, that as you go out into the field, the wildcatter will look. But if they drill down just, say, 500 feet and stop their exploration, but yet they will drop these augers or these bits down into the ground, going a mile wide, but stopping every time at 500 feet or less, guess how much oil they will typically find? And the answer, of course, is none, because that's not where the oil is. The truth is, in order to find the oil, what they have to do is they have to drill down for miles, in many instances, 2 or 3 miles, because that's where, if you remember the Clampetts, Jed Clampett, the Beverly Hillbillies? Remember when Jed was out hunting? He had his shotgun and he was out looking for varmints, whatever those were, or raccoons or whatever they were. And remember, he was aiming at one and he missed and he shot, and what happened? He hit the ground, and just by simply hitting the ground, it caused oil to start bubbling up. Remember, they called it Texas tea, black gold, right? Well, that doesn't work in the real world. See, that's not the way oil is found, and that's certainly not the way you're going to get to your wealth in whatever it is that you do. My grandfather's point is this. He said, John, you've got to drill down into whatever it is that you're doing. And in this case, in oil exploration, the pay dirt is the oil. Well, our pay dirt in this business, but more generally in life, is this. It's passion. This is something that I want you to remember. Those who are very successful, those who get to the highest levels of success in whatever it is that they do, including this business, mark my words, are always the most passionate. See, the people who understand why they're in this business, and it doesn't have to be this business. I mean, how many of you would say that real estate is the be-all, end-all for you? It's the thing that you love to do. You love to get up in the morning, you love to prospect, you love to talk to people, you love to present to them, you love to negotiate, you love to problem solve. That you love doing all of that. That given the choice to do anything else, including being on a beach, flying a private plane, living in a mansion somewhere in the Caribbean, and every day just relaxing, that given those choices, you'd prefer to be in the trenches in real estate. And I got to believe that there isn't one of you who would say you'd prefer to be in the trenches. And if you do, if you did, we've got a straitjacket for you. Just let me know, and I'll make certain we get you fitted for it very quickly here. See, the truth is that it's probably not the number one thing that any of you want to do. My question for you is this: what are your passions? See, I want you to think about this. Oprah Winfrey, the way she grew up, she was abused, given up for adoption, young black woman in a segregated nation where there was tons of racism. And yet today she controls an empire that is worth in excess of $5 billion. She's worth more than $5 billion. But what is interesting is this: when she started out as a young woman in the business of news and media, she didn't start out with a goal of being worth billions of dollars. The reason Oprah Winfrey is worth billions of dollars today is because she pursued not the money and wasn't extremely excited about the business. She was consumed by her passions, the passion of making a difference in the lives of others. Her intention was to make certain that young women, specifically, and women, and then secondarily men, did not have the experiences that she had of being sexually abused and being discriminated against when she was a child, that others would not have those experiences. And so she pursued what it is that she was doing in the business of media and TV to share that message and to make a difference. So my question for you is this: have you connected your passions in life, whatever those are, to what you do in real estate? Because see, if you cannot say that real estate is your passion, the thing that you get up every day to do and that you breathe for and that you live for, that makes you normal. So my next question for you is, then what is your passion, or what are your passions, and are you connecting those to real estate? Because see, short of doing that, short of connecting your passions to real estate, you simply won't pay the price of that commodity called money, and you won't be wealthy. And what you'll be driven by is what most people are driven by. See, I firmly believe that 90% of the people on this planet are driven by one thing. It's this word right here. And if you're on the call, it's fear. F-E-A-R. See, what I believe is that most people are driven by fear. They let fear dictate their actions every single day. And as a result, they play small. Instead of doing what it takes, stepping up and putting themselves in vulnerable situations, being willing to admit that they don't have it all figured out, doing things that are scary, paying a price, enduring the pain, pushing beyond that wall of resistance, they just simply shrink and disappear. See, have you ever looked at a graveyard? It's an interesting thing. I believe that the greatest repository of ideas, of greatness, of potential, is housed in graveyards. Very few people ever reach their potential, and the reason is that very few people ever discover their passions. So my challenge for you is this: to recognize, number one, if it's true, that real estate is not your passion, and be okay with that. Don't beat yourself up. I'm certainly not going to criticize you for that because it's not my passion. But what we have to do is we have to identify what our passions are and then connect those things to real estate, knowing that if we do our job in real estate exceptionally well, if we create these businesses that will manufacture great wealth, that it gives us the thing that money does. See, the reason that I like money so much is not money itself, it's what money provides. It's what provided Mother Teresa the opportunity to do what she did, and what it provides others the opportunity to do. It's called freedom. It gives them the opportunity to be free. See, I think money's a good thing because it gives us the ability to be free, to use our God-given free will or volition to do what it is that we want, to go out there and impact the lives of other people. Imagine what it is that you could do if money were no issue. That every day you woke up, you didn't have to worry about whether you had enough money to pay the bills. the gas in the car payment, the house payment, the tuition for the kids, the money to be saved for vacation. If those things you didn't have to worry about, and your worries or your concentration were just simply on your passions and the impact that you wanted to have on the lives of other people, and that there was plenty of money, in fact, that there was an abundance of money. Because remember, the good book says to be fruitful and multiply. Well, a lot of us have the multiply thing down. We've got our kids, right? But what about the fruitful part? What does that mean? Fruitful means to create more abundance, more wealth than you need yourself, so that you can go out and share it with others to impact the lives of other people. And isn't that why we are here? Man, if you can't get excited about going out and contributing to the lives of other people, having the freedom, the choice to go out and give your time, your energy, your effort, as well as your money to others to make a difference in their lives, I don't know what will get you turned on. I don't know what you can get excited about. I have to tell you, every day when I get up, those moments where I don't want to get up, where I'm not too excited about life and this business, I can tell you what I have forgotten. I have forgotten my passions. I have forgotten that my goal is to get up and make a difference in the lives of other people, to help them see their potential, to help them see what they're capable of, to help them achieve their goals. Even if they're simple goals like getting into a home and raising a family, or selling a home and starting that new lifestyle together as an empty nester couple, or whatever it is, that excitement to go out and make a difference in the lives of other people. It will be that passion. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this. Let me just give you a quick analogy and we'll finish on this. Imagine a man who is 5 feet 8 inches tall and he weighs 400 pounds. Now, just imagine what he looks like physically. He's very round, and when he moves very belabored. Heavy breathing. It's difficult for him. He has knee problems, back problems. He probably has kidney problems. He probably has diabetes. He certainly has heart issues. Now, do you think that he enjoys living like that? Of course, the answer is no. Of course he doesn't. And yet he does. He goes to the doctor, and the doctor says to him, look, Bob, you have got to lose some weight. You're 40 years old, and you move like, and you feel like, and you look like, and your heart beats like an 80-year-old man's heart. You got to change, or you're not going to be able to see your kids grow up, and you're certainly not going to see your grandkids. And Bob says, yeah, I know, Doc, I got to do that. And then a year goes by, he goes to the doctor again, and it's the same situation. Year after year, Bob never changes. Bob never changes because Bob is controlled by emotions. Emotions. We're all controlled by emotions, but Bob's controlled by a negative emotion or negative emotions that cause him to behave in a way that gets him further and further away from the life that he ultimately wants. And I go back to that thing that I wrote down here earlier. Fear. We can either be controlled by our fears or we can be controlled by our passions. It is simply a choice. So there are 6 things that I wrote down here that I want to finish with. I'm not going to cover them in any detail. I just want you to write these things down if you are able to take notes. If not, just listen. But to become wealthy, there are 6 things that I want you to keep in mind that you should be focused on a daily basis. Number 1, to believe that it is possible. To believe in you and your ability to actually be wealthy. Because if anyone can do it, so can you. Number 2, you are in control. Don't blame external forces. Don't try to explain away the wealth of others and the fact that maybe you don't have enough money. Take responsibility. The first step to recovery, they say, is admission. Take responsibility. Understand that you're in control. And if you don't like your circumstances, if you don't like how much money's in your bank, then admit it and take control and start to take action to change it. Number 3, recognize this, that money is, emphasis on is, important. It's not evil, it's important. It offers freedom. And I can't think of anything better in on this planet, in this world, than the freedom to do what you want, to impact the lives of other people, to go out and express your love and however you're going to do it freely. And then number 4, there is a cost. In order to do this, to become wealthy, you have to realize there is a cost and you're going to have to pay for it. Success is not luck, it is earned. Money does not come by chance. It is earned. And then number 5, associations are powerful. Examine the people you're associated with. I will tell you that one of the surest and quickest ways to improve your mindset and your actions and your emotions as it relates to money and what it takes is to make certain that you're associating with people who are success-oriented, who make a lot of money and make a lot more than you, because you'll learn a ton from them. They will be your inspiration, and they'll be your mentors, and they'll start to shape the way you behave. And if you like what they have and you like who they are, that's the way you'll become. And then number 6, your mind is a mental factory. Remember that. The way you think on a daily basis, your thoughts lead to your emotions, and those emotions lead to your actions, and those actions lead to your results. So if you think about money in a negative way, you'll act relative to money in a negative way, and therefore you will have negative outcomes. Think positive thoughts about money and what it can do for you. Experience those positive emotions, create those passions relative to what your life would look like if money were no issue. Go out and take those actions, and then just simply live the life that you want. Live the dreams that you want. Live the potential that you want, because you all have that ability. There isn't one of you who's watching or who is on this call currently who can't have as much wealth as you desire. See, if a John Paul Getty can do it, or an Andrew Carnegie can do it, or an Oprah Winfrey can do it, or a Mark Zuckerberg can do it. If any of those people can do it, why not you? You don't have to do it in the way in which they've done it. You can make a fortune countless ways. There are more ways to make money than the ways that those people have done it. You just simply have to observe what your passions are, stay close to those passions, and then go out and do on a daily basis in this business what it takes to generate the sort of income that you want, that you desire, to go out and live the life that you want. So this has been a fun call for me. I'm always excited about talking about money because I know the impact that it has. It can have a very positive impact on your life and the life of those that you love and those whose lives you want to impact. So I'm always excited to share it. Hopefully it made a difference, and it will continue to make a difference for you. If you took notes, go back and review those notes. And in any case, thanks for participating. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.